a first impressions and review of the SMASHBOX Studio Skin foundation. So if you want to see this review slash first impressions, just keep on watching. So SMASHBOX came out with a new foundation, or at least I think it's new because on the pamphlet that I got on Ulta it said like new foundation, the SMASHBOX. So I went to Ulta and I purchased this foundation, and this foundation does retail for $36. What catch my attention about this foundation, it says that it's a hydrating foundation but yet demi matte foundation. So that catched my attention because I love foundations that are matte. It claims that it's a hydrating foundation, but also it's an oil-free foundation, and then it sets as a demi matte foundation, which that for me was very like, what? So it's hydrating, but at the same time it's matte. I'm like, I have to buy this and test it out and see if it's actual hydrating but also matte. I really love foundations that are pretty matte. My all-time favorite foundation has to be the Double Estee Lauder. That foundation is super matte. You can literally feel on your skin when it goes on your skin. It's like super matte. It's durable. It lasts a long time, and it covers everything, and it's so perfect. And also this foundation claims like it doesn't settle on your pores or fine lines, which I was like, wait, what? So it's hydrating, it's demi matte, it doesn't settle on your pores or your fine lines. So I was like, okay, I really have to try this foundation. And they do have a variety of shades. They have 40 shades, and it does retail for $36. So I was very intrigued about this foundation, and I've never tried any foundations from SMASHBOX. I have tried their primers. I tried their like original primer. That one, I'd use it and it caused me to break out. So I didn't use any of their SMASHBOX other foundations. So I was pretty excited. So this hydration claims it's a medium to full buildable coverage. It's oil free, controls oil all day, sweat, humidity, and exercise resistant, and color true and transfer resistant, and it's a demi matte finish. And it says this is how you're supposed to use it. It's blend well over skin with brush, sponge, or fingertips, starting at the center of the face. So yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and apply this onto our skin, and I'm gonna be priming my skin with the Too Faced Poreless Primer, and on around my cheeks where I do have pores. So I just wanna I'm just gonna do a little bit. And I'm going to be applying this foundation with a brush, and I'm going to be using the e.l.f. Ultimate Blending Brush. I've been loving this brush to apply my foundation. It just goes well, and it's really cheap. Although you could feel it like it's kind of wiggly, like kind of loose, but the brush itself is pretty good. So I'm going to go in with that. And I'm going to be going in with the shade 0.2, which is for skin tones who are very fair with undertone warm peach. And I chose this foundation based on my neck. My neck is lighter than my face. My face is quite darker compared to my neck. So that's why I always find my foundation just by matching it with my neck. Because if I match it with my neck, then it will be okay and I'll have a pretty good match. It comes here like in a bottle like this, and it does have a pump, which is a plus. Because I really like foundations that do have a pump. Having a pump, it makes it way easier. And I'm just gonna pump one pump onto my brush. And again, everybody has their own techniques how to apply foundation. Probably my technique is not the correct way to apply foundation, but everyone has their own technique, so don't judge. So I'm just gonna go with one pump on here. Okay. Or actually 2 pumps. With 2 pumps you get this. So I think definitely it's a lot. Like you can see 1 pump, it's just like this. I went with 2 pumps actually. So then I'm gonna go in here. I'm just gonna put a little bit. And it does have, let me see. It does have a smell, but it's not that bad. It doesn't smell bad. Ooh, it is definitely lighter than my skin. And you can see like I have a lot of acne, like, so hopefully it does cover that. So it's definitely a little bit lighter than my skin tone. I think Although in the bottom it does look a little bit darker than how it applied. So I don't know. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna apply this here. I'm gonna do this. Yeah, it's a bit lighter. I'm looking like a ghost here. Let me blend this down. My face looks like a ghost, but I feel like it's setting into my pores, especially my nose pores. Did I make it work? Look like a ghost, and I wasn't liking how it's applying with a brush, so I'm gonna go in with the beauty sponge here, and I'm just gonna add more and see if I could build it up, because it's very sheer. You can still see my yeah, I'm liking better the sponge than the actual brush to apply this foundation, and I am looking really white on camera. It definitely looks like it's not my shade. But it matches my neck, but it just looks a little bit crazy. Definitely the foundation does not feel heavy at all. It's still feeling, yeah. Definitely do not try the brush with this foundation. I liked it with the sponge better. Like the foundation how it was applying with a brush, so I definitely recommend it with the sponge. I feel with the sponge it's actually looking better. With 2 pumps it was still sheer, although it says medium to full coverage. Honestly, I'm not liking how this foundation is looking on my face right now. I'm gonna go wash my face and I'll be right back, because I want to try this foundation again with a different primer and see if that affects anything, because right now it's not looking good. I'll be right back. Okay, so I washed my face, so I removed all that foundation because I really did not like how it was applying, how it was looking on my skin. And so I tried the poreless foundation. So I primed my face with the Too Faced poreless primer. So I'm gonna try the Benefit Professional primer and see if that one works better with this foundation, because definitely the Too Faced poreless primer was not working well with my foundation. It was just separating and it wasn't looking good, so I wanted to try it again and see how it will react with another primer, because sometimes certain foundations does not mix well with oh, you know what, I know what it is. These primers are silicone based, and the foundation, it is a hydrating foundation, meaning hence that this thing has water that has it's reacting to it. Let me see the ingredients. Yeah, it has water. That's why this foundation is reacting to the primer. So I'm not gonna use any of these primers. I'll be right back. Yeah, so no wonder the foundation was separating, because the primers were reacting with the foundation. So I'm gonna be using this primer, you know, quote unquote, and there's the backlight priming filter. So I'm gonna go with this, just so, I don't know, it just gives me like a nice glow. See, and I'm always preaching, do not mix foundations with different primers, because foundations are gonna separate if you use silicone primers. And look at me here. I'm gonna use 1 pump onto the sponge, and I'm just gonna go do these. And I always like to do it like this. So we're gonna try it again and see how it works. Definitely with 1 pump, it doesn't do much of a coverage. Okay, so that's like 1 pump all over the face. So I'm gonna go with another pump. I'm just gonna do 1 pump onto this side. I look so pale. But definitely this foundation, it is settling into my pores, and it's clinging into my dry spots. Definitely around my mouth I am very dry, and it is clinging to these dry spots. Yeah, definitely it felt watery at the beginning, but now it is like settling into my face, so I do feel like it's becoming a little bit matte. But it's my makeup, and hopefully by then the foundation actually had time to settle into my skin, and hopefully it worked well. Foundation on now for more than 30 minutes, probably 35-40 minutes, and this foundation claims it doesn't settle into your pores or fine lines, and I'm finding out that this foundation actually does settle into my pores, especially on my nose. I have a lot of pores there, and I can definitely see that this foundation is settling into my pores. And then on my dry patches that I have here around my mouth, it is clinging onto those dry patches. So definitely this foundation has it doesn't do everything what it claims it does. It says it's a medium to full coverage. You guys saw how I applied it, and for me, I felt like it was like a light to medium coverage. Probably if I end up adding more, like total of 5 pumps, it would have given me a full coverage. But it gave me like a nice light to medium coverage for my opinion, because I can still see my scars, my pimples, although probably you won't see it here on camera, but I could see it on the mirror that my acne is popping out. And it also claims that it's a demi matte finish. Definitely that I do agree, it is like a demi matte finish. It's not super matte that you feel like you can't breathe, but it is a nice matte, which I like. And I think I need to get a different shade. I definitely need to get a different shade because it was a little bit too light. And I did find is that when I was putting on bronzer, the foundation didn't move around or anything, which I like. And yeah, so it looks nice on the skin. It looks nice. Besides the two things that I really didn't like, that it actually did settle onto my pores and it's clinging to dry spots. But overall, this foundation looks okay. I will give it an 8 on my opinion, because I like foundation that just with a little bit, it gives me that full coverage. And also, I feel like this foundation, I have to play around with different primers and see which primer actually worked. So right now, my foundation hit my table right here, and it actually cracked. It scraped a piece of glass of that foundation. What the heck? This foundation does not last. So be careful. Look, it's right here. The piece is right here. So definitely be careful if you drop this foundation, because if you drop this foundation, it's a goner. It just hit a corner of my table, and this piece just flew out of it. It definitely... Oh my god. Yeah, so definitely be careful with this foundation not to drop it, because if you drop it, it's a goner. So I hope this review / first impression was helpful to you. If it was helpful and you like this video, do give it a thumbs up. Also, if you're not subscribed, do subscribe to my channel by just clicking that red subscribe button right there. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.